everyone, and welcome back to Scribe Plays Vampire the Masquerade, Coteries of New York. In our previous episode, we finally found ourselves in the Elysium, the court of the vampires, meeting the prince of the city, finding out that the mysterious man who had been our babysitter the last couple of nights was the sheriff of New York, and also being taken on as a project by another vampire who we are now under their accounting. And their accounting means that they are responsible for us, our actions reflect upon them and their reputation. But as well, our new patron has secured the right of destruction from the Prince of the City, which means that pretty much at any point along the way, our new patron can just kill us without any consequences or repercussions, as would usually befall a kindred in the city if they kill another kindred without the prince's leave. So, all of that being said, let's continue where we left off and see what happens next in our wondrous new adventure. Apologies, you must have so many questions. While we're on the topic, perhaps we should start with those related to sustenance. Let's see. Yeah. I feel this hunger constantly. How much do I have to drink to make it go away? The sad reality is, it will never go away. No matter how much you drink, you will always be tempted to have more. Unless you consume someone wholly to the last drop, paying for temporary relief with their life. But that is a one-way road to losing your humanity. Best start by just taking a single sip from a vessel. Be prudent. Hot, fresh blood will be more satiating than most anything they serve in a fancy glass. But it can make you more voracious. As to how much you should have, it depends. If you're frugal, you can survive many nights without a single drink. But it's risky and will tempt the beast that is part of our curse. Tomorrow, I shall take you hunting, and we will explore this topic further. The blood you're having tonight should be enough to keep you happy for now. Just as an aside, I'm going to take a quick look at our dictionary here and see how they've rendered some of these terms. The Camarilla, a major sect of vampires devoted primarily to maintaining the masquerade through influence and manipulation of mortal society. Sure. That's a very, very short definition. Fledgling, a newly created vampire still under their sire's protection. The Prince, a vampire who has claimed a given expansive domain as their own, generally a city, and supports that claim against all others. The term can refer to a kindred of either sex. The Hunger, the urge to feed. For vampires, the hunger replaces all other drives with its own powerful call. Vessel, a source of blood for sustenance or pleasure, primarily mortal. And the Beast, the inchoate... Try that again. The inchoate drives and urges that threaten to turn a vampire into a mindless, ravening monster. Yeah, so that is our dictionary thus far. All of these concepts have far more reaching consequences depending on how we get into the story, but we will see. Okay, so we should be happy for now with the wine glasses we've been provided. Let's see. Okay, what do you mean by hunting? Come on. My character is not a complete idiot. Sire-child relationship? Let's get some clarification on the Beast, because she didn't really explain that one. That beast you mentioned, is that a metaphor, or... Oh, it's quite real, although not in a strictly physical sense. It lives in all of us, our nature and hunger manifest. Those more religious among us connect it to the biblical Cain, the rage of the first murderer, cursed by God, seething in all his descendants. Yeah, kinda. I, however, am a child of the Enlightenment. Not that it makes my struggle any easier. I have to be wary like every other kindred in this city and beyond. Individual kindred have a unique relationship to their beast. What yours is going to be remains to be seen. Now, the Gangrel, clan Gangrel of the vampires, have a very specific relationship with their beast, for when they lose themselves to the beast, they gain an animal feature to their physical body. So, like cat eyes or wolf ears or whiskers or a tail or a whole bunch of other things. But we can't play a gangrel in this game, and I'm curious to see if we see a gangrel in this game. But you do need to keep it under control. Each outburst endangers not just you, but also the Masquerade. Well, yes. I'm sure if you lose yourself to the beast in public, you're going to be causing some problems with your fangs and your hissing and everything else. But that's not the only risk to the Masquerade. The concierge returns, asks for permission to intrude, which Sophie gives with a polite smile, and leans in to whisper in her ear. You note that the gallery is now almost empty. I'm being told the gallery is just about to close, but we still have a lot to discuss. We'll go to one of my apartments. My jalopy is waiting downstairs. Come, jalopy. The smile she puts on makes you remember last night's encounter in the showroom. A similar eagerness to spend time with this person overtakes you momentarily, and you follow her outside. She's probably using presence, the presence discipline. I'm wondering when we get to start using our vampire powers, if at all. Your sixth sense tells you that she... Wait, let me try that. Your sixth sense tell you... Okay. Your sixth sense tell you she's an artistic soul, too, and you unwittingly start projecting good qualities onto her. Well, if you tell us how the trick is done, it kind of takes the suspense away. Sophie leads you to a luxurious silver Rolls-Royce and invites you to sit in the back. The chauffeur, a broad-shouldered, clean-shaven, middle-aged guy, starts driving immediately. So where did we leave off? I believe I started telling you a bit more about our customs. You've heard the prince refer to our traditions. The chief among them is the Masquerade. As you might have gathered from us assembling at a niche gallery after closing time, our comings, goings, and doings tend to be somewhat secretive. We do not advertise our existence. You don't say. We allow myths and modern fiction to morph and muddle the facts, so to the vast majority of kind, we remain bedtime stories and pop culture icons. Say, is that one television show about a vampire angel still popular? You shake your head in confusion. She shrugs and continues talking, looking a little bit more dejected than before. Oh, David Boreanaz. We miss you. Not really, I never watched that show. Our clandestine ways help us remain safe, allow us to explain away the occasional trip up to the rational minds of 21st century humanity, and dictate much of our interactions with mortals. Yes, let's ask about the driver. Let's see if we can learn something about ghouls, because I'm pretty sure he probably is one. So if it's such a secret, then I'm guessing your driver is a vampire too? Oh, dear Gregory here? No, not a vampire, although he is a loyal servant, and as such trusted to not spill our secrets left and right. You will realize with time that such help is welcome. Gregory watches over me during the day hours. Sun burns our kind. That's why we take our rest when it rises. It's more akin to being dead than asleep, as I'm sure you've already experienced. But not everything you've heard about vampires is true. Some more folk-related threats are just legends, or, occasionally, a minor nuisance. Garlic, running water. Even religious symbols don't repel us, unless the wielder is uniquely pure and godly. Stakes through the heart, though, that's something to avoid. They do not destroy, but they do paralyze us. Well, that's just another reason to have somebody like trusty old Gregory making sure you're safe when you drift away. We have many enemies, and they often know their advantage lies with daylight. Let's see. So it's good to keep human friends? Am I right in thinking that having a human friend or two is necessary then? Or at least useful? In moderation, and best if they don't know your true nature. Also, I would say that subordinates are useful, but friends? I haven't had one of those for many years now. Our little sect supplies social interactions aplenty, but it doesn't really encourage friendships. Alliances of convenience, to be broken at a whim, yes, that's more like it. Long-term solidarity does occur in the Camarilla, but we are a very politicized organization by necessity. Loyalty is to your sire, to your prince, and to the sect. Friends must remain a distant priority at best for us to maintain the Masquerade and thrive as the years pass. With age comes authority. With it comes influence and power, if you wish to reach for them. She seems to be lost in thought and falls silent for a while, leaving you to ponder all the things you've learned tonight. It still feels absolutely unreal, but as piece after piece of knowledge falls into place, the image becomes more like an entirely logical jigsaw puzzle. Whatever you wouldn't believe on your own, you've witnessed. Many questions swarm your thoughts, but the one you keep returning to is what your place in this new reality should be. Your place is pretty much as cannon fodder, but anyway. The car stops. You're in the city, in front of an old but well-renovated apartment building. We're here. Would you like to see your lodgings? Would there be a circumstance that I wouldn't inevitably see my lodgings? Let's see. What if I want to sleep in my home? I have an apartment I could go back to. Sleep there. All my stuff's there anyway. Does it have sunproof blinds? Or a solid, secure door? No, I think you'll find this apartment much safer. Come upstairs. She leads you through a small hall with a night guard who greets Miss Langley with a good evening, and you take the stairs up to the second floor. Sophie opens the door to room 209. Inside are all the amenities you could expect from a modern apartment, and some you wouldn't have deemed necessary just the previous night, including thick blinds on the windows. The back room has a comfortable-looking bed and a thick steel door with several sturdy-looking locks, but no windows. Well, how do you like it? I want to be a grateful, completely oblivious guest, and also I'm still a suck-up artist, so this is great, thank you. I'm glad. Make yourself at home. Tomorrow I will take you hunting and discuss the blood in more detail. I'll let you get comfortable. The keys are by the television set. I will come to pick you up tomorrow night. Use the back room for rest. You can lock the doors, just in case. It stings a bit when she leaves. It's like the room suddenly becomes a few shades dimmer. Yeah, well, presence has a way when it's not around. You inspect the kitchen, hoping to find something to drink. Nothing. No regular food, either. Well, try doing that and see what happens. Feels strange that Kadir could be a more thoughtful host than your new sire, even if only in that respect. You briefly wonder if the sheriff might have a hidden side. No? Yeah. With nothing left to do, you lie on the couch with the TV playing in the background for company. Columbo reruns. Columbo? Alright. Kojak rerun. Boy, oh boy. President of the United States got himself into serious trouble again. Uh-huh. President of the United States got him out of trouble again. Boy, you know, when I come to play a Vampire the Masquerade role-playing game, what I really need is some contemporary political commentary. Pundits start yelling over each other about things that seemed a little bit less insignificant just 2 days ago. Uh-huh. You start drifting off, reflecting about another night of confusing conversations and worldview-shattering revelations. I think someone would probably be having a bit more of a internal crisis than just that, but okay. How many more before you finally understand what happened to you and what you're supposed to do now? Dude, vampires. And I know we're existing in a world where vampires are... I mean, vampire fiction alone should give you an idea. Have you seen a movie ever at all? You keep coming back to the life you left behind. It's only been a day, dude. The people you should contact. The things you want to pick up from your apartment. You wonder when you'll have the chance for either. What about your sister? As you start to feel the same tiredness that made you drift into a cold sleep last night, you settle in the back room. The bed is comforting, the lack of windows less so. You leave the light bulb on. Looking at it, you realize it's the closest you'll ever come to staring at the sun on a breezy summer day again. A wave of melancholy overwhelms you. A few minutes later, your consciousness fades and you take the plunge into darkness again, sinking, 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 sinking. Oh, okay, we have a map now. Okay, well, let's see. This is, I'm assuming, a clock? Oh, this will probably tell me when the sun is going to rise. Okay. Alright, so I guess my only option is to rest. Oh, tutorial. Hunger is at the heart of a vampire's existence. To ignore it is to tempt the beast to take over in its desire to feed. To overindulge in feeding may threaten the masquerade while staining what humanity you have left. In Coteries of New York, oh geez, after all this we finally get to the, okay. In Coteries of New York, having high hunger is indicated by a progressively thicker bloody frame around the screen, like the one you see now. Ah, okay, so that's, I'm slightly hungry, okay. As your hunger grows, so does this indicator. Your hunger may increase when you call upon your vampiric powers, or when you need to mend your wounds after a fight. Ooh, I'm going to get into a fight. When your hunger reaches the maximum level, you will receive a warning after you complete a piece of the story. Ignore it at your own peril. All right. Some choices might only become visible if your hunger is high enough. Similarly, high hunger may block off some choices, as you will be able to see after pressing continue. Well, I'm pressing the arrow key, or the finger key, not continue. Oh, blocked off options, continue. Okay. To decrease your hunger, you will need to feed. Whenever you see a feeding opportunity, you can take the risk to hunt and slake your hunger. Blocked off option, feeding opportunity. Okay. You will need to keep the hunger at bay if you are to uphold the masquerade and survive the nights that await you. Oh boy. Okay. You open your eyes. The bed isn't warm. The room is filled with artificial light from the ceiling. The solid metal door is closed. Normally, you'd stretch for a bit. On some mornings, you'd probably throw a quilt over yourself and snooze a moment longer. But that was before. The way you woke up now, you are fully conscious. No grogginess, nothing weighing you down. Just the nagging need in the back of your head. Hunger. Not as severe as the last time, but unmistakably there. You get up and open the door to the main room. A digital clock on the TV shows you the time, 9:04 p.m. You walk over to the blinds and retract them cautiously. The only light coming in is New York City's artificial nighttime luminescence. So that's what your waking hours are going to look like now. You miss the sunlight already. You're seriously considering just walking out of the apartment and figuring this all out by yourself, but then you come back to the memory of Kadir's exotic sword being raised in the gallery. Maybe sticking around isn't that bad of an idea after all. You keep jumping channels for around half an hour and then switch to streaming services. Almost as if the universe had a sense of irony, you catch True Blood in the flood of recommendations. Uh-huh. Okay. The doorbell rings. It's Sophie. Good evening, Scribe. Slept well? It's not exactly sleep, right? It's not really like normal sleep, is it? I suppose it isn't. Some say it's more like being dead, but we wouldn't know, would we? It's no use reflecting on it anyway, except that this is who you are now. You made the right choice yesterday. I can teach you many things about yourself, your blood, its desires, and its power. We will begin tonight. I'm assuming Sophie is a Toreador, else she hasn't made that clear yet, I don't think. You are hungry, yes? I'm sure you are. Our kind always is. There is only one remedy, the blood. The drinks we had yesterday at Elysium are not the usual way you slake your thirst. So tonight, I will assist you in your first foray into hunting. You need to learn to sense the kind of blood you desire, to understand how you can use the kind's vulnerabilities to your advantage. The kind of blood you desire. Well, there's only one clan that has a clan curse, or clan flaw as they're called, where you have to drink from a specific kind of person. That's the Ventru. But maybe that's just sort of a generalized statement. Predator and prey, huh? Grim. So let me get this straight. We are predators, human are prey. That's pretty grim. Again, have you never seen a vampire movie? Okay. I know what you feel. I remember the notion. But you will, inevitably, grow beyond it. You need blood to thrive, but there are many ways to take it, some more humane than others. You will find that drinking moderate amounts of it regularly will keep the hunger and the whispers of the beast away. You might think yourself monstrous, but there is a balance to be found here. The kiss gives the kind pleasure. You might remember this from your own embrace. Some can even become addicted to the sensation, but if you do it right, they tend to misremember your feeding. Tell us also about how you can lick the wound closed, because that's also important. After all, vampires do not exist. They are myths, fairy tales, and pop culture mainstays, correct? She gives you a sly, knowing smile. That is why the masquerade is so important, and even more crucial when you feed. Let's see. How do you cover your tracks? Biting people leaves marks, right? And the victims remember your face. You shouldn't concern yourself with leaving marks. These are easy to conceal. You just need to bite carefully and then lick the punctures closed. That's all there is to it. Yeah, it was always explained that you can lick feeding wounds closed with your tongue if they are wounds that you yourself inflicted. It's kind of one of the very gray areas of the rule set, but you can't. The other thing, though, is you can't, like, let's say you come across a victim of a stabbing or someone who's been shot. You can't lick their wound closed. It's only if you've bitten somebody, and only then the puncture marks you make with your teeth. It's magic. As for being remembered, like I mentioned, the kiss is an ecstatic experience, so Kine can barely recall the details. And even when they do, this city is enormous. You could spend days on the streets and not see the same face twice. Use that to your advantage. Feeding from the same area repeatedly can be dangerous, but by branching out you risk the ire of other kindred on whose domains you trespass. Lucky for you, New York City is more forgiving in this regard. New York is in somewhat of a unique position. Many of its neighborhoods remain contested or unclaimed. The reason for this is a lesson for another time, but keep the following in mind. Take opportunities to feed when they present themselves these upcoming nights. As long as you hunt cautiously and respect the masquerade at all times, you should be fine. To wit, I want you to join me for a trip tonight. Come downstairs. Gregory is waiting for us. Tell me we're going to a nightclub. That's always good. The busy street fills the air with traffic noise, pedestrian chatter, and a mix of smells that disorient you momentarily. These warm bodies contain what you want, what you need. You catch yourself. Did you really just think of these people as mere sources of blood? Huh, you're almost thinking like an investment banker now. It takes a nudge from Sophie to break your train of thought. Her driver opens the door for her and then tips his hat to you, gesturing to the back of the car. The car casually joins the somewhat thin New York traffic. It's still busy, in a way only one of the biggest cities in the world can be, but compared to the daytime commute, it's a pleasant drive. You barely have the time to gather your thoughts and formulate new questions before the car comes to a stop. You're among the tall skyscrapers that make up Manhattan's iconic skyline. You feel a pang of emotion as you realize this is where you took part in the exhibition just 2 nights prior. Same address, and you suspect same hall. To what ends has it been repurposed tonight? Come, Scribe. Park the car, Gregory, will you? The driver just nods and Sophie gets out. You join her, and the two of you walk through the glass doors together, then take the elevator up. You first notice an empty stage with the instruments of a string quartet still in the back, then take in the few dozen chairs in front of it. The concert seeming concluded, the patrons, all smartly dressed and posh, have spread out all over the hall. Sophie strides confidently inside, produces an invitation from her purse that she flashes in front of a security guard. You follow close and are let through without issue. Let's start easy. A social setting like this one would usually prove quite challenging to an inexperienced kindred, but consider this evening a small gift from your patron. So wait, the first night you want to go hunting, you take this person back to a place that they've been previously, where people can know that this person is still around after the sheriff basically told us that we had to cut ties with everyone, that life is over, and so on. Okay. I'm hoping to procure for you a willing vessel. Just remember what I have told you about taking small sips. This one I have a soft spot for. Don't damage her. Uh-oh. Now let's see here. Ah, there he is. She notices somebody in the crowd, flashes a heart-melting smile, and suddenly even you feel drawn to her. You haven't thought about it before, but it's laid clear before you in this moment. Sophie is beautiful. Just looking at her is a privilege. Just being with her makes you feel elated. Everybody in the crowd, but especially the man who's almost tripping over himself to reach her, clearly agrees. Edgar, I'm so happy to see you. How is your daughter? Is she with you? Oh, there she is. Julie, my girl, come over, please. There is someone I'd like you to meet. The young woman who walks across the hall can't be more than 19 years old. It's clear from her mismatched earrings and the partially faded purple hair dye that she doesn't fit this crowd. Julie, this is Scribe. I think the two of you should get acquainted while I talk business with your dad. Awfully boring stuff, I assure you. I'm positive you'll like each other. Creepy. The girl gives you a shy smile and nods towards the balcony stairs. You follow, somewhat unsure what it is exactly Sophie expects you to do. Dude, have you never seen a vampire movie? Come on. You reach a secluded space from which the entire lobby is visible. All eyes are on Sophie. They listen intently, then laugh when she does. Julie saves you the trouble of figuring out the next step. If you're with Sophie, then I guess you're, you know. Oh, Julie is a blood doll in the common parlance. Julie also has a kitty cat tattoo. She puts her wrist to her lips and gives herself a theatrical nip, then looks to you, embarrassed, but also hopeful. Yeah, what, you're into that sort of thing? What, are you into this sort of thing? She blushes, looks down at the floor, nods. Could you, if you'd like, Miss Langley tells me I taste good. She swallows hard, avoid your eyes. That I taste nice, uh-huh. Alright, so yes, Julie is a blood doll. Slang term for a willing blood donor to a vampire. Of course, the danger is that she has some idea of what you are, or at least a notion. So she's a danger. Drink from Julie, yes. You take her forearm in your hands. A quick look around confirms nobody's watching, and no security cameras cover this area. You bite down, gently. It's surreal. She's just given you her blood of her own volition. How is this possible? What about the masquerade? You need to ask Sophie. Your thoughts disappear amid the bliss. There's just the taste. Sweet, fresh, sanguine. You drink. And drink. And drink. Uh-oh. No, stop. Stop. Stop! You tear away from the girl harder than you wanted. Still, the bite leaves just tiny punctures. Almost as if by instinct, you lick them clean, and the two holes become concealed, just like that. Julie is now leaning on the wall, pale, wobbly on her feet, but happy? She lets out a dreamy sigh, opens her eyes. A few tears fall onto her shirt. Tears of joy. Thank you. Please, can you walk me downstairs? Please? My dad, he doesn't know. Thinks it's a condition. Miss Langley told him so. She leans on you and requests you walk her over to a bench. She takes a seat and smiles at you. The crowd around Sophie disperses slowly, looking at her now. Only some residual awe hangs in the air. Yes, awe. Awe being the first level of presence. Yes, she's pretty, maybe even beautiful, sure, but not your type. What came over you before? She dropped presence. You walk over to her. Edgar, dear, it was splendid talking to you, but we need to get going. Give Julie my best wishes. Come with, Scribe. Gregory is waiting for you out front. It's only in the car that Sophie addresses you. I can tell from your look that you took the opportunity. Good for you. That girl's exquisite, don't you think? You wouldn't tell by her demeanor, but she has so much passion. It brings out a unique bouquet in her blood. Sorry, I didn't mean to, I forgot to use my voice with that one. Yeah, she knows who we are? I think she knows who we are. That's not normal, right? It's not usual, that much is true. But don't worry, she will do anything I tell her to, and won't say anything to anyone that I haven't put in her pretty head first. Oh, she might be entranced, or she's a ghoul? Well, you wouldn't want to ghoul somebody that young necessarily, especially if they still have family. I don't know. Time for the next stop. Training wheels off this time. Gregory, Flushing Meadows, please. And that's where I'll call it on this one. I'm trying to keep these to about 30 minutes a pop. So that was interesting. My gamer mind and my vampire lore knowledge is got a few question marks hovering over these events, but maybe those will be explained later. In any case, hope you enjoyed the show. If you like this kind of content, let me know in the comments below. I'm so used to saying description. And do like the video if you like it. I'm still getting used to this whole gamer patter thing to open and close the show. So if you'll forgive me, you are my training wheels in this instance. In any case, everyone, until the next episode, as always, thank you for watching.